Hello everyone and welcome to Metro TV. We have a great show. Our nonprofit this week is Lolo's Angels. Our Healthy Living, Healthy Giving segment will be talking to Summer Family Chiropractic. And then our person of interest, I'll be talking with Waddy White, artist here in Omaha, Nebraska. So don't go away, we will be right back. Well, welcome back. I'm here with Leslie Hacker. She is the founder and president of Lolo's Angels. Hi. So, Leslie, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So, I want to learn a little bit more about how and why did Lolo's Angels kind of come to be. So, take us through that story.
Sure. My daughter Lauren goes by Lolo and was diagnosed with acute myelocytic leukemia on December 12th, 2012. And she fought for 6 months and went into remission. However, she, like most AML kids, I shouldn't say most, 50% of AML kids will relapse sometime after going into remission. She actually had leukemia again in 8th grade, and she was a miracle and survived it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I can tell this is, I mean, obviously this is an emotional thing for you, and having to watch your child go through that, it just, I can't even imagine. But you took this kind of challenge, this tragedy, whatnot, and made something really good, brought good out about it, because you created Lolo's Angels. And
right.
Then talk about what does your organization do and how does it help others in the community?
Well, we tried to really pinpoint what areas we could help with. You could imagine after this we want to help every child that has pediatric cancer.
Yeah.
And so what we focused on is what we could do. And so we raised money for pediatric cancer research. Right now we're funding a genomic sequencing project.
Okay.
And what that does is for every new diagnosis kid that comes in and has pediatric AML, actually in the entire Midwest region, Lolo's Angels pays for their genome to be sequenced. Okay. This helps them survive their AML. And in addition, we run blood and bone marrow drives, and we try to do support activities like a toy drive and other events that just help any pediatric cancer patient in the area enjoy their life a little better and have some hope.
Yeah. So do you have a toy drive going on right now?
We're gearing up for it.
Okay.
So right now we're running a online Giving Tuesday campaign. Okay. Lauren's diagnosis date was actually December 12th. It's coming up.
Yeah.
And so she's running an online campaign until December 12th. On our Facebook page, and we're trying to take some of that money for our toy drive that will be over President's Day.
Okay.
And we're also looking for a couple businesses that would like to partner with us.
Yeah.
We realize that during the winter months, the donations go down at Children's Hospital, and it gets to be really long hours sitting in those hospital rooms. So we try to provide toys, games, and activities to keep the kids active and alert and engaged.
Yeah. So that's one way people can help.
Yes.
Can they go to your website to find out more about that, or how can people get involved?
They can contact us if they'd like to partner.
Okay.
And then the day after Martin Luther King Day, we'll start running a drive for 3 weeks, and there will be a list provided by Children's Hospital of things that they need, and we will have different ways that they could sign up to donate those items. Okay.
And you have a couple events though throughout the year in addition to that. So tell me about those.
Oh, they're very fun. We try to have fun while we're doing this, of course. And we try to engage our junior board kids. So we have about 25 high school kids from 4 high schools, and we're growing. And so they run a summer, July 2nd will be the Summer Blast outdoor dance.
Okay.
And they raise about $2,000 to $3,000 for research. And in the spring, we have a big scavenger hunt that will also raise money for research. And that is like 20 to 45-year-old generally.
Okay.
And they do a scavenger hunt from the Old Market all the way up through Dundee. And it's a lot of fun. And they take pictures at different landmarks and such. And then in the fall, we do a big Oktoberfest, and that provides all the funding for our genomic sequencing project.
Okay. And I see this, you set this on the arm of the sofa. So tell me about this. Is this your band that we can wear in honoring?
Yeah, that would be great. And we're also going to be selling these coming up in addition to sweatshirts and things like that, just to raise some money. And if you would wear that, that one is in honor of Lolo. And you know, for our entire Omaha community, whenever somebody offers you their band, it's kind of uniting in their fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, tell us again your website and how people can connect with you.
Sure. We have a website, it's lolosangels.org. We're also on Facebook at Lolo's Angels Inc. and Twitter at Lolo's Angels.
Okay. Well, Leslie, thank you so much for coming on. And I just appreciate and I'm honored to get more to know about what you're doing. Exciting that you're going to be in our giving guide coming up in 2019.
Thank you.
So we're going to see more of you and help get the word out. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the Omaha community for all their support.
Yeah, thanks. And we will be right back. Well, welcome back. This is one of our Healthy Living, Healthy Giving segments, meaning that when you're living a healthy life, you're more able to give back and contribute to the community. So here I have Andy Summer from Summer Family Chiropractic. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Andy.
And let's just talk about what inspired you to get into the field of being a chiropractor.
I love answering that question. I would say years ago, when I was in college, I ran cross country and track, and I suffered a series of stress fractures in my leg. Of course, I went from doctor to doctor, physical therapy, athletic trainer. Nobody could give me the answers as to how to improve. Very frustrated. I remember my dad telling me I should go see his chiropractor. And it was kind of funny to me because I thought, I don't have a back problem. Why would I go see a chiropractor?
Right. It's kind of what we think chiropractors, you know, I mean, that's just one piece of it. There's so much more.
Yeah, and so I ended up going in reluctantly and I was blown away on that first visit as to what I learned about my body. How I wasn't working properly, how I was out of alignment. So I was really inspired to start care and was going regularly for a period of time to basically succeed, overcome the injuries, and get back into what I love doing. And from that experience, I wanted to become a chiropractor and help other people. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it was really fun.
Because again, you know, what inspires us to kind of where we go in our life, it's just interesting how it typically touches a pain point, so to speak, in our lives. So absolutely. Well, why would somebody see a chiropractor? You just kind of said a few things, but let's talk about that because it's not just your back.
Right. Absolutely. You know, we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, right now, us just sitting here calmly on a couch, we have no idea what our blood pressure is. Right now, if somebody asked me if I had a cavity in my mouth, I have no clue if I have a cavity in my mouth. So in order to find out what our blood pressure is, we need to get checked. Put the cuff on, we pump it up, and we learn what it is. For the cavities, we go to the dentist to see if we have anything going on. Same thing with chiropractic. I tell folks, in order to find out if you need chiropractic care, go in and get checked. Schedule an appointment, learn about your body and some things that you may not know that might be holding you back from better health.
So what does getting checked mean? I mean, what do you check for?
Absolutely. Yeah, so the best way to say it would be a misalignment of the spine. Misalignments of the spine, as we know, the spine protects the most important part of our body, the nervous system. And if it's the communication line of the body. And so if anything interferes with that, something in our body may not work properly. And many times we don't feel that happening. And that's kind of the scary part of that. But it's really exciting when people start getting adjusted because they experience a better quality of life.
Yeah. Could it be maybe like headaches or just, I mean, pretty much headaches? Could it be depression? I mean, they can all kind of fall underneath this line of what's our spine doing, and maybe it potentially could, like you said, create a greater quality of life.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stress signals like headaches and things like that people have when they're overstressed in life.
Sure.
But I never really give a specific symptom to say, hey, if you have this, come in and see me.
Absolutely.
But I joke. I tell my patients, I wish we had a light bulb on our forehead that said tilt every time we were out of alignment, because we really don't know. Which is why I educate the community so much. Just go see the chiropractor, get checked regularly. Just like you do at the dentist, just like you take your car in for an oil change, get your spine checked regularly for better function.
And what does regularly mean?
Yeah, great question again. I would say that for myself and my family, I recommend that we get our spines checked weekly.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean we get adjusted every week,
Right.
but get checked weekly just to make sure you're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the wellness, maintenance lifestyle that we're talking about. And essentially that's what chiropractic is a lifestyle.
So at what age should we start being checked on a regular basis?
Let me turn it back on you.
Yeah.
What age do we see our kids having stress?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. That's a great question.
Just this morning, I was talking to some parents that their 20-month-old child fell 2 months ago head first from a 6-foot drop.
Yeah.
And she went to the ER. And thank goodness she had her spine checked this morning and did great. She smiled through the whole thing. It was a lot of fun. But kids definitely need to have their spines checked too.
Right. And we were just talking. I was watching a documentary about the chiropractic practice, and they were doing adjustments on little kids and babies even, and the prognosis after that was it was amazing to see just what that does.
Yeah.
And just to make it a part of our wellness routine.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
The best thing I can say is it's better to raise healthy kids than try to wait and fix damaged adults.
Absolutely.
So it's just the mindset, and that's really the biggest thing I try to teach the parents coming into the office is let's start a regular family maintenance style of care, as opposed to, instead of waiting for aches and pains and big falls, let's maintain while we can to make sure we're functioning at our best.
Yeah. So how can people find you, connect with you? Give us all that great info.
Oh yeah. We're very active on Facebook, Instagram. It's kind of a fun, we do a lot of quiz questions, interactive videos, and so check us out on Facebook. There's always a competition or a giveaway. So we'll put a quiz question on there, and everybody who answers it can get their name thrown in a hat, so to say, and win a prize. So on Facebook. Our website is omahafamilychiro.com. Okay. And of course, you can give us a call at our office, 402-913-0553, and schedule an appointment if you want to learn more. Okay, so takeaways for this is to make this needs to just be a part of a wellness program, like taking a walk or putting great food into our body. I think our bodies respond to things that are, first of all, non-invasive. Of course. And also just helps kind of keep that energy flowing and everything working good. So. For sure. I mean, just live life to the fullest. That's the whole goal. Yeah. Andy, thank you Dr. Andy. Thank you. Thank you for coming in, and we will be right back. Well, I am here with Waddy White. He is a local artist doing amazing things in this community and elsewhere, I think, around the country. But let's talk about what you're doing here. Sure. But thank you for joining me.
Thank you. It's really great to be here.
So, we met a few months ago when you were working on the pirate.
The story of the greatest pirate who ever lived on the face of the earth.
So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I just want to kind of, who is Waddy White? Who are you? Where'd you come from?
Who is Waddy? So I'm a transplant to Omaha. I moved here in 2006 from Chicago. Okay. And I grew up in rural southern Illinois, but my family kind of always moved around. They were cultural anthropologists, and so everywhere we lived, we had this sort of strange experience of not being from there. So we're
Okay.
always sort of outsiders that got along pretty well with everybody, and so invited into a lot of circles, but never in the center of any of them.
So what brought you to Omaha?
Family, really.
Okay.
We had a couple of kids. My ex-wife got a job that seemed great, that would move us here and be closer to her family as well.
Yeah.
Our little ones have gotten much less little,
Right.
like, over the years. Then
So have you all? I mean, have you always is being an artist? Has that always been your kind of profession or career? Or it seems like just
Kinda,
watching
yeah,
you,
it
you know, it's been interesting to
Yeah.
watch you.
well, thank you. It's, I think with a lot of artists, like you always do it. You do it as a child, and then unless something happens and it gets interrupted, you kind of keep doing it.
Right.
And there's only ever been a few things that I really loved, and art was always
Yeah.
one of them. And so I majored in it when I did it all through high school. I majored in it in college. I went and got a BFA and a master's and kept doing it. I have always had other jobs. With most artists, we work kind of these portfolio careers
Yeah.
where we do many things, and all of it kind of accumulates into something that feels like our mission, our work.
Yeah. Well, again, I feel like our paths have crossed many times, but again, just about 3 months ago, I finally said, "Who the heck are you?" and came over to your studio and started and talked to you. Was incredibly inspired by so many things that you do, but one of the pieces you were working on was say it again, the pirate.
The greatest pirate who ever lived.
Yeah. So you were working on that. So let's talk a little bit about that because that's really cool.
Sure. It was so fun, and I've been so fortunate in my career to have, to do work that that caters to the things that I take the greatest amount of joy in. And
Yeah.
a lot of those are there's a lot of storytelling, there's a lot of collaboration in these kind of projects. So probably about a year ago or so now, I started talking with the administration at Brownell Talbot, the school that my son attends. And they'd come and we would, I'd find a thing for them at the studio to auction off every year.
Right.
And then they started asking about what would a project that we collaborated on look like. And then as I'm thinking about it, trying to figure out like, what is it? I'm a visual arts person. I paint and I'm a printmaker. It probably is going to be a mural of some sort. There's always like this figurative element to it. There's always a narrative to it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come in with a story, and they're going to allow me to work with some students, and they'll be using the students to research and to figure out how to tell this story.
I love it.
And so I tried to figure out what kind of story is an appropriate one to tell
Sure.
at a school like this. And so their mascot is a raider, is a pirate. And so I started going down this little rabbit hole of,
Yeah.
well, what is there a good pirate story? Who is the greatest pirate who ever lived? And it turns out, by every measure, there is one pirate who is bigger, better, more successful than anybody else that's ever lived. It's not even close.
And she is?
She is a Chinese woman from the turn of the 19th century
Yes.
named Qing Shi.
Yeah.
And is just like, everything about the story is really amazing. And the further into it we got. So I worked with 7 high school students, all young women, to research this story, to spend every morning for a week straight answering every question I could think of.
Yeah.
And the things that we came up with, like paint this story that is really fascinating. It's a woman who became a pirate at a time when women were not allowed to have jobs or own property.
Yeah.
But not only that, she really led this class and ethnic uprising against the power of Imperial China, and never loses. That's the other amazing thing. But
Right.
every other pirate eventually gets caught, and she has China, Britain, and the biggest navy in the world in Portugal coming after her, and she wins every time, and eventually accepts a pardon from the emperor.
Is that women intuition? I mean, we
She's something, yeah.
tap into-
Every one of the stories that I would read or that I would show
Yeah.
and show to the students was again and again somebody trying to spin her showing up and sealing all their stuff as somehow
Yeah.
some marginal victory on their behalf.
Yeah. So you worked with these 7 students,
Yeah.
and again, I got an opportunity. You had a really great kind of grand unveiling or grand opening about a
Yeah.
month ago. Wasn't able to come to that. I went by Brownell yesterday, and it's truly amazing. And there's so many little hidden
Yeah, I think that's
pieces in that.
So a lot of what my public art usually is about is that I try to I work in a community. I work with people who are not artists in one way or another. I find a way of getting them to use their voice in a new way, and then I take that and try to make that loud. And then I make an object with that is going to sit in that place for. This is going to be there as long as that school is there. It's going to
Yeah.
be there 50, 60, 100 years. And everybody who goes past it is disrupted a little bit by artwork like that.
Right.
It changes the psychogeography of a place. Everyone switches the ways that they travel around. They look at the figures of the characters of the narratives in there.
Yeah.
And they feel like those represent who they are. And then it changes what the environment of that school is going to be.
Right, right. And again, when I was looking at it yesterday and pointing out some things, and you also personalize it. One of the main women, there was a kitty down by her feet.
Yeah,
so
that
you
was
kind
one of the
incorporated-
girls brought in her cat, because we spent this long time figuring
Yeah.
out the people that she grew up with. They lived all their lives. A whole family would live in a boat about the size of a table because they belonged to
Yeah.
an ethnic group that was not allowed to live on land.
Right.
And in living that way, they probably had pets. They had animals with them.
Right.
And so we spent this long time figuring out what kind of thing would they do.
Yeah.
What would live in a tiny boat like that with
Yeah.
them.
I mean, I could talk to you for hours about this
Yeah,
project, but
it's extensive.
I do want to move on to a couple other things.
Sure.
But if anybody wants to learn more about that project, is it on
Oh,
your,
you can always look at my website,
Okay.
wattywhite.com.
Okay.
Google me, there'll be plenty of it out there.
Because there's just so much
Yes.
great stuff about that. You have another project called 100 People
Yes.
that you've been working on. Where are you at with the 100 people?
I am about at the midpoint of it.
Okay.
So I've been doing these for a little over a year and a half now.
Okay.
And so what I'm doing is I am inviting one at a time local artists and advocates to come by my studio. People who are kind, people who do some sort of good thing in the world. Usually very grassroots things, usually very humble people.
Yeah.
They come, they collaborate with me to figure out a portrait of them, something that they want to be seen as, something that they want to say. And then I translate that into a woodcut, into
Right.
a carving that I make. Then I print that as an 8-foot mural that will last 10 to 30 years, and I
Yeah.
install that somewhere in public.
Is wood cutting, I mean, is that another, because
Yeah.
the murals, you have wood
Yep.
cutting.
So I'm a painter and a printmaker, and about half the work I do are these public
Okay.
art projects
Okay.
that usually do something with a community-based or social justice kind of mission.
Yeah.
And in this case, my intention was to take 100 people who do great things without any expectation of accolades, or
Right.
even people who are doing this professionally who are there for the accolades, but who are
Because-
showing up every day to do
Yeah.
the hard work of it. It's very humbling work.
Yeah.
And to do something that honors them and do something that raises them in the eyes of the people who walk around the city.
Yeah, which are amazing people, and I've seen
Yeah.
some of the people that you've done the portraits of, and then learning about the ones that I don't know
Yeah.
are equally amazing.
Yeah.
So,
So at the point, I've carved about 50 of the 100 people.
Okay.
I've installed about 30 of them as murals.
Right.
And the next phase will be also installing QR codes to queue up with first-person interviews of the models that will be hosted on my website.
I love that. So in the 2 minutes we have left,
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about like some future things.
Yes.
Again, I was looking through your Facebook page and also heard you talking out in the reception room. You're doing something called Odyssey.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I'm really excited. I love this project. So it's in a lot of ways very similar to
Yeah.
the process I went through at Brownell Talbot. I'm working with Holling Heights Elementary School, and I'm showing up with the story of the Odyssey. You know, one of the most iconic canonical stories, epics of Western literature. And I'm working with a first day group of 4th and 5th graders to figure out how they understand the story, how they hear the story, what appeals to them, what does not appeal to them, to see it through their eyes and somehow get them to internalize it and describe all the things that they can see in it to me. And then get them to model for all the characters and to use them to tell the story. And then I'm making a mural out of that. So
Yeah.
at the point I'm thick in the drawing and painting of it, which is really fun. And it's a great place to be.
Yeah.
And the ways that these kids are developing the characters, and the things that the characters as they develop them are saying something about the way they see the world, the way that they see themselves, the way they see themselves together in this group of 10 or 12 kids who all become a little bit equalized in that room.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be kind of little celebrities in their school from now on.
I love it. What an experience for them, and I know what an experience for you. You're just telling me you go to sleep thinking about this, you wake up thinking about it.
It's all I do. Yeah. I
So
love
how
it.
can people follow you? I mean, we'd talk for hours, honestly.
Yeah,
Again,
we're
so-
just getting
and I'm
started.
going to wrap back around and have you on the
luckily,
show again. But yeah.
there are very, very few people in this world named Waddy White. So
Yeah.
you could. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I post there
Okay.
a lot. My website is waddywhite.com. You can Google me, and I'll be the first
Okay.
5 pages that come up.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
What
you.
an honor and pleasure to get to know you more this year, and I look forward. Look forward to just seeing what you're doing
Oh, good.
and
Well,
what
thank you
happens
so
next
much.
for you. So
That's really
all right.
kind. Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and thank you. Well, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to vote for your favorite charity event. Last time to do that, deadline is December 15th. SpiritofOmaha.com, and we will see you back here next week.